welcome everybody to this episode. Uh, next thing up, um, next in line in a series of greatness, strong perspective podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Keith Armstrong. I'm along with my brothers.
Uncle Spoke.
What's up, everybody? Looking forward to hearing from you. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Making a connection. Love everybody.
You gonna introduce yourself?
Flute, go!
Yo, we on the other side of things. I talked to Damon yesterday and just asked him, what he felt like we should be talking about. And he's the political guy of the three of us. And I said, listen, if you want to talk about our elected president, I'm gonna ride with you. But I'm gonna be short and sweet, mostly for personal things, personal disappointment, not because of who won and who lost, but because of what I have witnessed from age where my head was in it from age 12 to 60. You feel what I'm saying? The political process where we were taught a certain thing, right? But in reality, it moved in another way. You feel what I'm saying? And like I said, it's all, I don't necessarily care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, who you voted for. I don't care. I think the fact that if you're being taught and getting A's and B's and C's in civics about your government, you should be able to see it every once in a while. I'm talking about in the higher ups. Locally, you see it. I'm talking about the higher up. But we on the other side. In our community, there's one thing we know how to do. We know how to keep pushing on and keep evolving. Jaquari, how was your day today, brother?
It was productive, man. It was productive. You know, my Fridays are usually short. I've been having severe bouts of insomnia lately, man. So I'm all over the place.
Okay.
It was a good day.
Okay. Damon, what about yourself? How was your day?
My day was, man, I was combative. I was all over the damn place, man. But at the end of the day, I found peace. You know what I'm saying? And in terms of where I am in life, man, I have to keep on, continue to persevere, man. So I'm good.
No doubt. No doubt. I always feel as though I need to talk about this podcast in the early part of it because I think it's a very important thing that we do. And basically what we're doing, we're communicating with one another, we're communicating with our audience and expressing. And I'm not talking about the what's hot right now. Expressing your feelings. Hell, I've always expressed my feelings my whole life. You know what I'm saying? But the only time anybody ever listens is when you're angry. You know what I'm saying? That's when they hear you, right? And I'm speaking in general terms more than anything. And it's like now that people have an ear open to listen to what everybody has to say, now we hear bouts of depression, bouts of glee, bouts of pure happiness, elation. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes confusion. We key on now because we look at our telephones, laptop, desktops, tablets, and we look at other people like the three of us, sit up there and chop it up on podcasts, individual podcasts, group podcasts like ours. And it's kind of starting to sink in, to be absorbed into the atmosphere. Like, you know,
Is that a good thing, though, man? I mean, because everybody's opinionated, man. Everybody's always had an opinion. And in this age of social media, man, we're quite used to people expressing their opinions. My point is, man, you don't always have to. People, have developed the confidence and ability, to spew their opinion. And I say spew because it's for me. What I hear people talk about most of the time, in regards to opinion, especially when it's something that's important or whatever. Yeah, okay, it's your opinion. You have the right to express your opinion, but do you need to?
Mm.
Do you need to? Sometimes, man, you got to leave me alone in the fact that I believe that the world is flat. You got to let me work through that. What you say is not going to change my mind, man. If that's your goal,
yeah.
That's a true statement, bro. That's real.
yeah. Instead of me providing information to you that I believe that's going to help to sway you or whatever, why is that any of my business?
Mm. Gotcha.
If you believe the world is flat and you're a functioning adult and you paying your mortgage or your rent and you're taking care of your kids, you going to work every day. Why would I weigh in on what your opinion about anything is, as long as you're not hurting me?
Yeah.
People are free to express. I understand that, man, but you gotta, is it your opinion or do you just got something slick to say?
But is it incumbent upon the person, man, to come to a draw conclusion, man, based on their own morals and understandings in life, man?
Yeah, about the important things.
Right. I mean, and that's what makes who you are, man. Coming to a conclusion, man. Trusting your judgment. You know what I'm saying? And understanding. Now you mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing, but just to come to a conclusion out of anger doesn't accomplish anything. You know what I'm saying? It's just finding somebody who agree with you based on your anger or whatever. But by the same token, man, isn't it incumbent upon yourself, man, to come to an understanding where, damn, am I really upset because somebody has a opinion outside of myself? You know what I'm
Yeah, but
saying?
why should you constantly have to do that work when people can just not say fucked up things to you?
Well, it's all based on what you take personal, bro. You know what I'm saying? If somebody sparked that thing that makes you challenge what they're bringing to you, it's personal, right?
But
Who was that?
why is the challenge necessary? I don't understand the challenge, man.
It's all incumbent on what triggered you.
To make them feel better, man, about who they are. Because a lot of times if somebody challenges you or I'm not talking about in a kind way or a quizzical way. I'm talking about when you feel and can confirm, because sometimes we misinterpret what somebody asks us, right? But if you can confirm it, It has a lot to do with how they feel about themselves personally, because they are trying to drag people down to their maturity level. And that's what I'm thinking, that with all this information and the things that you guys are talking about, don't it have to have a lot to do with being, in your opinion, in my opinion, it has a lot to do with your maturity level and how you process things and how
Yeah,
you.
but yeah, but what somebody's expressing or conveying to you don't coincide with what you take personal, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. That's your own thing, and nobody understands that unless you express it, unless you be argumentative about it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can say something, you can hear it and don't agree with it, and be like, "Man, I don't even have to address that because it doesn't affect my life." But
Maturity
if
level.
you take the stance and make an argument, then you have to be clear and concise with it for somebody to understand your point of view, right?
No, and that's basically what I was saying to you, is sometimes people just want to argue for the sake of arguing to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, but I think now Decoy
I said
explained it.
sometimes.
Okay.
See, that's the point I was trying to make to you, and it was directed towards what Jaquari was saying when it's in a work setting.
Yeah, it's a work setting, but by the same token, what if he did take it personal? And he's in the process of expressing in a combative way. Then it is personal, right?
Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
now,
but so what?
Decoy,
Okay,
correct
I
okay.
me.
don't
What
understand.
what what about this scenario, man? What if what if I have an opinion? Okay, the world is flat. Okay, I have that opinion. All right, and I'm going along about my day, and somebody just happens to overhear me say, "I believe the world is flat," and all of a sudden they want to have this long-winded debate about why I'm wrong, and science said this and science said that. Why does it more? I'm only going to double down on my opinion.
Right.
Of course,
Okay, and if I'm a better arguer, if I'm a better debater, then I'm going to win that argument. Doesn't make the information right.
yeah. I mean, go back. Look, I sound like a broken record, but it's maturity level, man. It's where their maturity level is and where you are, because, like, to Damon's point, you make a choice to respond to something in a certain way. If they're out of pocket, if you feel they're wrong, you could either make the choice not to say something or to say something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but if you're responding to something that you put out there yourself, it's incumbent upon you to respond to it. You know what I'm saying? Without animus. You know what I'm saying? It's just, if somebody challenges you on the words that you put out, there's it's incumbent upon you to express your meaning so they understand, not to be in a combative way, but just to put your point out there because that's just how you feel about it. Now, depending on how they respond to you is all based on whether or not you're going to be combative. You know what I'm saying? But if you expressing something that you learned something today and you inspired about it and you just put it out there and then somebody going to question you on it, you know what I'm saying? Is it combative? Is there a combative argument there? Or do you come to the conclusion that I was just expressing myself? You can have your opinion. I don't care. I'm just telling you how I feel based on whether or not I learned from it or not. I'm just putting it out there. And I might put it out there because I want to get other people's opinion. But it's still predicated on the fact that you're in control of the conversation because you're looking for output and you're looking for understanding. But you're still coming to an understanding. You trying to understand what emotions that you're going through yourself. Now, if a person want to be combative based on just for the sake of argument, then that's something different. You know what I'm saying? And that dictates what your
See
emotions is
that?
going to be in response, right?
See your that statement, Damon. It totally takes the responsibility from the person who made the fuck up statement in the first place, man. You didn't need to make that fucked up statement. You didn't need to give this person any pushback whatsoever. If this person wants to go along in his life believing that certain things are true, then you approach him and challenge him. Are you approaching him to enlighten him, or are you approaching him to win that argument?
Well, that all depends on whether or not you respond to somebody. But the initial statement was that you put something out there that you feel, and if the response is relevant to how you feel in general, then it could be a cogent and real conversation. But if you respond to somebody and challenging them, then it's going to be combative. It's going to be combative in that aspect.
Does it have to do with what kind of relationship?
Well, if you respond to
two people,
pardon me,
doesn't it have to do with the relationship between the two people who are actually talking? The maturity level and the independent, and whether or not you take it a certain way.
Yeah, all those things come into factor. All those things come into factor. So
a lot of times you will take it personally if you don't have a good relationship with that person. And I'm just using Jaquari as an example, and he says something or she says something out of pocket. Because am I wrong, Jaquari? And I'm thinking that the person said something out of pocket,
right?
Not actually inquiring about what's going on with your statement, or just trying to figure out more about your statement. They were combative from the giddy up, and you don't have a good relationship with them in the first place.
Right. So why do you even need to interject anything in my conversation?
Yeah, but why? But initially, why would you even make a statement for them to argue about if you wasn't comfortable with their response? Is my point.
He did say that they was eavesdropping. You see what I'm saying? He would say the example he gave. He was talking to somebody else, and this person overheard it. Right. Was not a part of the conversation.
Then we can agree to disagree, and it doesn't affect me at all. I was just expressing my feelings. You have the right to respond how you want to, but I'm comfortable with the statement that I put out there. Now I'm going to judge who I respect and how the response is to it. You know what I'm saying? I get to pick and choose and not have any animus about this shit. Is my point. But I put myself out there. Nobody else. They didn't draw me into anything. I didn't respond to anything anybody said. I just put my statement out there and I said what I felt. And if it's relevant, if it's cogent, then I'll deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But if it isn't, and they trying to be combative on some bullshit, trying to make me look bad, then I have a choice whether or not I'm gonna respond to it. I have a choice because it was my initial statement. Is my point.
I get it, man. You know, and I'm not saying that, you know, it's an expectation or anything like that, man. I'm saying, you know, people use, you know, people throw around the word discernment a lot nowadays, man. You know, if you were more discerning about what you said, about what you put out in the atmosphere, you know, and people who responded to it was more discerning about you know, about how they responded to it or whatever, then, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, if it's about discernment, man, then it's about another person's opinion, even though it don't coincide with yours.
Why is this other person wasting their time having an opinion on something that I'm concerned with?
Well, then shouldn't you lead with, I don't need your goddamn opinion. I just state mine. I don't need yours. I don't need your rebuttal.
He probably already said it. Look, he probably already said it. I mean, that you know, that's sometimes, man. And this has been a good discussion about it, because really and truly, we saw 3 different ways of thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? And Like I said, in my reiteration, it's more or less a maturity level and the relationship you got with that person. Because if that person has never, and it don't have to be hostility, but if that person has never said a word to you or either bothered to actually um, say boo to you, right? And his response or her response to what you said, you felt was borderline because the relationship you had with him was borderline disrespectful, you're gonna feel some kind of way. It's this human nature. You know what I'm saying? Now your maturity level is how you handle it and how long you handle it.
Well, you talk about the maturity level. If I throw out a statement that I'm my conviction, I throw that out there. I'm gonna do that on the private line with private people and respect their opinions because I respect who they are. But if I just throw that shit out there in general, of course people gonna have different opinions and shit, or be challenging, at the same time.
See, you're
So
adding stuff
how do
into it,
I?
though, bro.
Pardon me?
You're adding stuff into the scenario, man. He already told us what the scenario was. He told us what the scenario was. He said that he was talking to someone else, and this person was not a part of the conversation.
Well, then I stand corrected.
That's all.
I stand corrected because if you throw your opinion out there in general, then people gonna have differences
Of course,
of opinion.
of course.
So if that's what the situation was, bro, then I apologize. You know what I'm saying?
I
I'm
don't
just
think
thinking.
you need to
I was just thinking
apologize.
about.
He was
I was thinking
apologizing.
about. I was just thinking about. General conversations, man, and come to the conclusion whether or not you give a damn about what this negative person is saying, as opposed to what you was trying to express.
Yeah, I mean, you just misunderstood, Jaquar. You don't need to. I don't think you need to apologize. You know what I'm saying? Because you saw you're on a level in which you know you're on a Rodney King level. Can't we all just get along?
Well, here's the thing, bro. I could come to that conclusion, but Jacory hasn't said anything, so I don't know if that was his initial feelings or statement, or whatever.
He ain't say
Are
anything
you
about what?
offended, bro? You
What are
know
you
what I'm saying?
talking about? What are you talking about, man? Nobody said nothing like that.
No, what I'm saying is, Keith, I understand where you're coming from, but if a person puts out a statement, be it personal, in private, or in general, that person has to take responsibility and say, this is what I meant. You know what I'm saying? It's about intention, isn't
I
it?
know, but Damon, who are you to challenge that person, man? That's my
Who
point. Who are you to challenge that person?
a person who has a difference of opinion,
An unsolicited opinion is my point.
and that's the point. That's the point that Keith made. It's unsolicited, but if you put it out there in general for the public,
Yeah.
then people are going to have a difference of opinion, bro.
Everything doesn't have a caveat, man. Everything doesn't have a but. Sometimes people just need to hear something they disagree with and move on with their life. That's
Hey,
what they need
look,
to do. I mean,
hey,
it's as simple as that.
hey, Flu, your opinion was right, and Jaquari, your opinion was right. This is what I've been trying to say. It's like it's different angles at looking at this thing. That's all. You know what I mean? Because I think I'm gonna tell you, and I told y'all this before. I have stopped arguing with somebody unless they really and truly want to get my goat. And I'm talking about people outside of my circle, meaning that somebody brought it up. I think y'all both brought it up. Nobody really wins an argument, man. You either out talk somebody or you louder. You're louder than the other person. You feel what I'm saying? You definitely don't win. What you're doing is shutting him up or shaming her up or getting her to back off some. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, when I was young, I used to argue to win. But you never win unless you're absolutely right. Somebody's doing something absolutely wrong, and you like, no, this is the right way.
Well, let me ask y'all both this question, not to cut you off. Let me ask y'all both this question. What if you talking to a person that you have a relationship with, and they come to the conclusion they come to a conclusion and they say, I disagree with you, and we to agree not to be friends. Then what do you say then?
Me personally, if you make a decision not to be my friend, I can't do nothing about that.
Right. Simply because y'all don't agree with each other. And the combativeness come in and it's argumentative and all that shit, which can be avoided because you respect each other's opinion. But what if it's argumentative and you come to the conclusion that, hey man, if that's how you feel, then we can agree not to be friends.
Yeah, but so that's the whole point though. If you feel as though and you, that's a knee-jerk, immature thing to say. If I have not said anything for you not to want to be my friend, other than me disagreeing with you.
But so what is your motivation? What is your motivation? To be offended, or to a person to agree with you?
I don't need agreements, man. I don't need agreements, man. And people need to really realize. All right, let me ask you a question, David. When did being opinionated become a positive thing? People always say, okay, I have my opinion.
Repeat that, brother. I didn't hear you.
When did being a person that was opinionated when did that become a positive thing? Being an opinionated person. Opinions aren't facts. Opinions are something that somebody feels about something. It could be reinforced by facts, but ultimately, man, a person's opinion is an amalgamation of things that they've heard and that they've taken and formulated their own shit with, right?
Right.
That being said, why is it a good thing to foist those things upon other people?
But simply by the virtue of the fact that just to have an opinion and just say what was on your mind, what you was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
Let's just get thrown out of opinion. You don't have to agree with me.
What's the use
being
of throwing
argumentative is
what's the use of throwing out an opinion that you know ain't gonna bring nothing to the conversation?
Then why have a conversation if you come to that conclusion though? I mean, what's the point of having having a conversation or having an opinion if you don't expect the person to agree or disagree?
Because originally I was having this conversation with another person.
Right, and that's what Keith said earlier in the conversation. But why not lead with, look here, I don't need.
If I'm having
this was said to me on numerous occasions. I don't want you to say anything. I just want to express myself. Then there's a lot of respect that can be derived from that situation. I don't need your opinion. I just need to be heard by somebody. Everybody needs to be heard, right?
I understand that, and I agree with it, man. But if I haven't even had the opportunity to make that statement to the person who had an opinion that's counter to what I'm saying, then I'm just flapping in the wind here. If I'm having a one-on-one conversation with somebody over here, and then this person hears me from over there and comes over and interjects something into my conversation, then I haven't had the opportunity to tell that motherfucker I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Well, right? I can respect that aspects of it, because if it's a private conversation and somebody interjects, then you have every right to feel how you feel. But if it's a conversation in general and you just throw out your opinion, then that's fair game, isn't it?
Yeah, if that was what I was talking about, that wasn't what I was talking about. I was talking about somebody coming in and and inserting themselves into the conversation.
Well, I don't want to
Are
misconstrue
you?
what you're saying.
Oh well, no, I believe I was clear. But are you saying that's fair? That's fair game also.
No, what I'm saying.
If you overhear something and decide to interject your opinion
Well,
on that conversation, are you saying that that's fair game?
No, what I'm saying is correct. Let me correct myself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if it's a general conversation for everybody to hear, then people can have their difference of opinion. Now, if it's a private conversation, then and I interject, then you have every right. If I offend you, or I have a difference of opinion, you have every right to combat that shit and say whatever the hell you feel and speak on it. If it's a private conversation, but if it's a general conversation, there's two different dynamics happening right there. See what I'm saying? If it's a private thing and then I interject myself, then if I throw my opinion out there, you have every right to tell me it ain't none of my damn business and who asked you in the first place. I get that. You see what I'm saying?
I understand I understood what you're saying. I mean, but understanding is like a 2-lane highway, bro. It go both ways. Do you understand what I said?
Yeah, I was hoping that I was expressing the fact that I did understand you. I was trying to express the fact that I get what you're saying.
But see, this is a prime example of what I was talking about.
What's that?
You know, you are no doubt a part of the conversation or whatever, but I expressed an opinion, and you felt it necessary to
make my opinion.
Yeah, but you didn't have to.
I didn't have to. You're right. You're absolutely right.
And that's not really fair. You know, especially in regards to this platform, because this is a conversation.
You gotta express his opinion.
Yeah. So I'm not being an asshole or anything like that. But it's just like like a shadow example. You know what I mean?
What's that? What do you mean by shadow example?
Well, something that like has shades of my point to it.
I see what you're saying.
Wait. No, shadow example. That's mine.
You claiming it?
Yeah. When that shit get out to the blogosphere and shit, I want motherfuckers to realize that the shadow example came from strong perspectives. So that's our shit.
Quote Uncle Spode on it. Shadow example.
No, that's our shit. and then it had shades of my point to it. Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, you understand me speaking like our pops. You understand? Listen here. By virtue of the fact that you understand,
man.
No, man, I totally get it, bro. There's no argument with me, and I'm not trying to disavow what you're saying. What I'm saying is, because I thought we were speaking in general. Therein lies my opinion. Speaking in general terms, it wasn't based on.
Man. I'm just fucking with you,
bro. Individual conversations with whatever. But I like what you said, and I'm gonna steal that shit too. Say it again. By shadow. Wait, what was that?
I don't remember.
Shadow example, man.
Okay. So when the motherfucker argued with me, he was like, by shadow of example, nigga.
Okay. So you're gonna have to tell them what it means when we done, man.
You need to put that shit on the bottom of the screen, Keith. By the shadow of example. Babalusi Mangani, Bay Stone, nigga.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
and that consists of man. I really wish, man, that the world knew. Like when we say shit like that, man, that the world knew what we was talking about, man. You know, because some of the things that we overheard when we were growing up, man, was just fucking brilliant, and
Yeah.
it was stoic, it was useful, man. God damn it, and you know,
You're right.
it could
It
have,
applied.
it always applied, man, and it could have done a lot of people a lot of good, you know.
Cut straight to the chase, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, dude, hey, here's another John Armstrong ism. The fuck you mean? Oh,
Fuck you
look
mean?
here. Yeah, what the fuck you mean? What was it? His other statement was from he asked a question and they said, I don't know. The fuck you mean you don't know?
What do you know?
What do you know?
Like,
I know I ain't going down this road, my guy.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have a question for you. Last Friday, we covered a lot of subjects, you know, with Dwayne Upperman.
I wasn't here, man, so I'm learning.
I know. So one thing that stuck out in my mind, Dwayne said, and you could feel it, and Jaquari was there, Damon, so he could probably concur, or I might have exaggerated a little bit. So you can let me know if I'm wrong or right, Jaquari. Dwayne felt as a business owner that he did not receive the kind of support from our community that he thought he should have. Am I correct with that, Jaquari?
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, yes,
Okay.
exactly what his point was.
Okay, and that was his opinion, and I respected it because this man is, you know, he self-proclaimed hustler, you know, always in all kinds of business. You know what I mean? I've seen it, you know, because I've known him since 98. No, yeah, 98, 99. You know what I mean? So he's always had his hand in something and always been a viable businessman doing his thing. You know what I mean? Mechanic, you know, and other things in his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask this question when Damon comes back. But in your opinion, what do you think when it comes to Black business? I hate to put it that way because it's like we kind of singling it out because I kind of said it's all business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be a minority business owner, right? What do you think, if you can imagine it, Jaquari, what do you think is your version of community support of your business?
Community support, man, is you know, if I provide a certain product for the community, and you know, in a perfect world, I would hope that my community would come to me until that product ran out, and then they would go outside the community.
Okay.
And until I was able to re-up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and they came back, you know.
So really, and I'm talking about you being at A1. Your business is A1.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, and I'm not saying this has to do with Black businesses, but the stereotype. You know what I mean? Because you ain't giving nobody a discount, you slacking. You feel what I'm saying? But if your business is A1, what is your version of community support? And I'm asking myself that question. And if it was me, folks, the majority of my business is word of mouth. That's community support. Whether or not I'm a mechanic, a painter, carpenter, you know what I'm saying? My store, if I have a grocery store or something along those lines, word of mouth. throughout our community. Because when it goes word of mouth throughout our community, it eventually trickles out into the entire communities, all communities, right? You do good work. You provide great services, right? And I found it just trying to understand exactly what somebody's, and guys, if you're on YouTube watching this, if you're on Facebook watching this, answer this question for me. What is your idea of community support? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're white and watching this, you still can answer the question because it's a basic question. You know what I mean? Because I understand when you have a business, whether or not it is, you're selling something or you're selling a trade or you're doing something, you cannot depend on just your community and just your family. You need it all. You know what I'm saying? So you need the help and you need the professionalism. Now, the stereotypes, they always throw the stereotypes on us, right? But me, in my own personal opinion, I've never ran into a black person who was at work who was not about their business, right? Now, I've ran into, think about what I'm getting ready to say, I ran into assholes, male and females, who was dodging work. And there was every color. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And basically what I'm saying is I'm being fair with it. I'm being fair.
I think, man, like newer black businesses, black owned businesses, man. I don't think our community gives them a chance. I mean, because you look at other communities, man. You look at other well owned, other well established black businesses, man. Those things, I mean, they become institutions. Johnson and Johnson. It's an institution, but they weren't always Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah.
The community gave them time to to develop and to go to and to be cultivated into who they are now.
I mean, you think about it. A lot of it has to do with what? Because you were restricted from another area, and you flourish there, and you keep your professionalism, and you survive everything. Damon, I'm going to ask you the question. When it comes to our community, because our last week's guest, he was a little disillusioned when it came to our community's support of his business. He's a mechanic and he does a lot of other things, but he was a little disillusioned, right? What is your idea of community support of businesses, black businesses? And before you answer, I'm putting it in there to let folks understand. We're not talking about just exclusively black businesses. We're just talking about you're going to start in a certain place. Sometimes you only have the opportunity to start in your community. What can that community do for you to support you before you blow up and venture off into the world? What do your opinion? It's just your opinion.
My opinion is this, man. If you're in the black community and you start a business, right, you have this expectation that the community is going to support you, but that's not always the case. You know what I'm saying? We have this tendency to think that because we started a business as a black person, black people are supposed to support us. But in all communities, where does that really happen, man? You know what I'm saying? It happens in the Chinese community. It happens in the Arab community, stuff like that. Because
Damon, hold on. You can expound. I want you to answer that question for me. In your opinion, what do you see as support for black businesses? What do you think a community could do for those businesses? and then you can
Support
figure
each other. I mean, that's the easy answer to the question, man. It's to support each other. You know what I'm saying?
in
Especially
what
if you're
way.
dealing in that community and you're selling the product to that community to sustain it. You know what I'm saying? And give them what they want. Obviously, it's about supporting that company or business. Obviously, that's the case. You know what I'm saying? But here is the difference, man. If you look out at communities outside of us, you know what I'm saying, what are we representing? You know what I'm saying? And what are we selling? You know what I'm saying? If you think about soul food and stuff like that, who sells soul food outside of our community except for other communities stealing that idea? And if a Chinese family come into a community, a black community, and they selling soul food, fried chicken, soul, all that stuff, and they selling it, as opposed to a black family doing the same thing, why is that Chinese family thriving more than the black family? Why is it? Because they're selling the same product, but they're thriving.
Maybe fried chicken, but they're selling their native dishes, or
Yeah, they're
what we
selling
can
native
consider
dishes,
their native dishes.
but you can go to certain communities, especially where we came from. They got Chinese people selling soul food,
Well, hog maws, chicken.
all that. They selling that. And my thing is this: here is the major question: why are they thriving, selling the same products that come from our community, and we're not? You know what I'm saying? Is it a mental thing? Well, what's going on there?
You know what?
Are they dominating the you know what I'm saying? Are they dominating the whole thing with the product, and you know what I'm saying, and having having the ability to provide
So
those products
hold
or
on. Let me
whatever.
ask you a question. That's one thing that I think we are successful at, if it's in our community, is restaurants and soul food restaurants. That I think, I think that's the one thing that we will go and support that. I was thinking along the lines of the other things. You know what I'm saying? Like painters, carpenters, hell, mechanics. You know what I'm saying? Mechanics. You know, along those lines, because I think restaurants may not do well forever, but they will do well in the beginning because people will come to see what kind of food that you're cooking and also how your food tastes. You know what I'm saying? And a bar. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, but bars.
I think, man, that there are so many things happening outside of our community to combat what we're doing and uplift other people. You know what I'm saying, I think that's the problem. That's the major problem, man. Because, hey, you know what? What do they say? Black people are lazy. Black people don't open up on time, and it's that negative aspect of us perpetuates itself more in our aspects, how we try to do business as
So is that a
opposed to other
stereotype?
community.
Is that a stereotype?
Okay, however you choose to describe it.
I'm asking you a question. Do you think that's a stereotype or do you think it's true?
I think it's a stereotype. No, it's not the truth. It's a stereotype. How you choose to integrate, how you choose to, you know what I'm saying, how you choose to display or market your shit. You know what I'm saying? See, a Chinese person come in to open up a soul food joint and don't have to market that shit at all.
So where you live at, they got Chinese people selling soul food.
in
'Cause
MC,
I've
yes.
never seen that.
Yes, they soul food. Yes,
Soul food like
absolutely.
what?
Without marketing, all
If
aspects of it.
you
Without
go to
marketing that shit.
if you go to the state of Maryland,
Whereas a black person, we choose to market it to shit in our own community and say, "Hey, man, this is what we're trying to do," and we put a tag on that shit, and our community say, "Well, that's more than I'm willing to spend," as opposed to the Chinese group, and I'm just using them for an example. They might get the supply and demand at a cheaper price.
Because it's the stuff that they cook.
No, because they are able to get what we want or desire at a cheaper price because they saturated the market and they are able to on a mass scale get it at a cheaper price, and they choke us out.
Okay. I see why regular Chinese restaurants are successful and they could charge and it's not a real cheaper price, but they can charge a reasonable price to people because they only cook vegetables, they only cook noodles. The majority of the meals that they cook, that's what it's based off of. Yeah, they throw a little bit of chicken, steak, and shrimp.
What do you
somewhere.
think? What do you think Asian communities can sell hair products and African American products in terms of hair and stuff like that at a
Because they're
cheaper
close to
price?
the India.
Right, because they cornered the market on this shit.
That was tasteless. I
They
apologize.
cornered the market on this shit, and they are able to price out people.
I get it.
Sell it at a cheaper price.
I get it. But
You know what I'm saying?
really,
Because
really,
we don't, because simply because we don't produce anything. We don't make or produce anything. We're looking at an outside source to give us something where they can corner the market.
you're talking about weaves, though? You talking about weaves and
I'm talking about all of it.
Like
chicken,
what else?
I'm talking about all of that.
What else, though? That's what I'm saying. And I'm not challenging you. I'm saying to you is you're talking about something that every woman don't want, and that's selling hair, right? But restaurants now they might have a wholesaler to bring it on, but they cook to me. Other than your example, they cook something different, and people like, yo, I'm gonna go to this Chinese joint because this Chinese and this Japanese place and this Indian place got their foods in there, and I want to go get that.
That's what I'm
See what I'm
saying.
saying?
if you go over to Maryland, man, I crossed the bridge over to Maryland, man, over in the Oxon Hill, there's several Chinese owned soul food restaurants. Hell, I think it's even a chain. I can't call the name, but they're there.
So
Is it you?
when you say soul food, what do they? We talking about greens?
We're talking about greens, chicken,
Everything.
beans, neck
and
bones,
their version of soul food.
Well,
Right?
I mean,
I
if
is it fair?
everybody,
No, I'm not saying.
there's a version of soul food in every black home. So
Keith.
so
Go ahead.
Okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
there's a version of soul food in every black home. So why ain't their version of soul food viable?
Their version of soul food is from their culture. It's not for soul food. It's their version of what they're willing to serve to the public at large. What I'm saying is, when it comes to what we eat, they cornered the market on it, and there are Chinese people can sell to black companies, black soul food restaurants, what we eat because they cornered the market on it, because they have the ability to get what it is that we like based on where they're getting it from wholesale, and we can't do that unless we mark it up, because we don't have the same access to the people that's supplying the shit, because
I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
I'm just saying they are able to do it because because black people are not willing to work with each other to have a stranglehold on those products. They're not able to do it because we don't work together, but they work together and they are able to outsource us, outbid us on the things that we need. And it's all capitalism. It's all about who's able to bring money to the people who wholesale the shit. That is the difference. And they just so happen to have a stranglehold on that shit because we don't work together and we didn't and we are willing to sell out. We are willing to give up. Back in the damn 60s, 70s, or whatever, black people owned businesses that produced hair care products. But guess where our hair care products come from? It doesn't come from America or black people. It comes from Asia and wherever. They're producing what it is that we desire, that we want to buy. And it's outside of our community. I'm saying we don't provide perms and hair and all that stuff. We don't produce that shit in our community, in this country. It comes outside of our shit.
It comes from outside, but we do. It's the trust factor, brother, because there are independent people who are actually doing that same thing.
Who?
You know what I'm saying?
Name a company. Name a company.
There are companies that have
Name one.
hair care products, bro.
Name one. They produce what we use on a daily basis. Hair care product. Name a company. You think? Look, Johnson and Johnson. Not Johnson and Johnson, but
no. First of all,
it don't exist.
I can pick up the. It does exist. I can pick up my phone and Google it.
Google it. Who? Name a black company that does that's on a national scale.
See, now it's she said a national scale. I'm telling you that they're not trusted like that until a bunch of us trust them to do so. But they do exist.
Yeah. Yes, but are they on a national scale? We used to be, but not anymore. Most of the hair shit comes from China and India. Don't come from Africa.
What you talking about? What are you talking about as far as the conditioner and all that?
I'm talking about everything. It's not produced in any black country or in America. It's not produced.
No.
It's produced from India, China, and all that stuff.
And it only comes here for American folks.
Consumption. For American consumption. But is it produced by us, for us, and by us? It's not. We get our shit from other countries other than us, who we are. It's not coming from Africa. Africa don't even produce diapers, man. Who else we getting it from?
Bro.
It's not their fault. They provide products that were
and plus we don't know.
That's capitalism. They took over the industry.
They're able to dominate the market. You're absolutely right. But there may be other smaller companies that's minority owned that's doing the same thing. You said it, nationally done. You know what I'm saying? It's like that is we don't even have to worry about whether or not you're going to sell it in the community. You can go online. You could Google it online and punch in black hair product companies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at it now, and I'm not going to read everything, but it's 56 black-owned hair care brands in this country right now. 56.
Okay.
Now, that's not a lot, but my point is they are there. And if you
Okay.
want, if
Why
if,
don't
if folks,
why don't they lead the industry?
You said it yourself. A lot of times they don't have good access to the resources, man.
and that was my question. How do you,
Because
in your opinion,
they were strangled out of the industry.
my question is, the earlier question was, what would you do to support in your community? What do you think one thing that you could support a black owned company? What do you think something that you could do to support them?
It's about marketing, isn't it?
No, it's not about marketing. It couldn't be. It couldn't be. You know why? Because then they will be larger. It has a lot to do with accessibility and people believing in something that's always been there. Think about before Johnson & Johnson kind of switched it up a little bit. They was all about the baby powder and the baby oil and shit like that and
Johnson
all
and
of that.
Johnson is white people, man.
I know that.
It's not black.
I'm talking. Are you listening to what I'm saying to you? It's not. I'm not talking about the black and white thing. I'm talking about the accessibility. How many people use them because it is the name. It's name recognition, right? I'm not a marketer, but I think I know that much about it. You know what I mean? It's like it's the thing about it. Like when it comes to sports, people love the Lakers for what reason? Yeah, you could talk about all the championships that they won. You could talk about Boston and all the championships that you won, right? But it's the name recognition. What people have always talked about throughout the years.
Exactly my point, bro.
And then we're agreeing then if that's exactly your point. You know what I mean? I would just talking about the fact that people gravitate for what they see more than what's going to be good for them. You know what I'm saying?
And who's taking advantage of that market, bro? Is it black people producing for themselves, or is it something ourselves because of the brand and the label? What's the black brand or label? You can go back to FUBU, for us by us, and people didn't support that brand.
They did support that band. They sold it out, brother. They sold it out for the money. They supported that brand.
Exactly. Just like who was producing back in the 50s and 60s, who was producing hair products and stuff for black people? Black people, until they sold out. Now somebody else is in control of that situation, bro. Not us.
Okay.
We're not even producing products, man. We're not producing products, man.
I don't know, man.
They copy and produce outside of us, and now we're dependent on them because we sold out.
Until you search, we are on the Amazon era. This is where we are. Amazon has every. I can almost, without knowing, I can almost guarantee Amazon has every black-owned, white-owned, Chinese-owned.
But here's a better argument, man. Here's the better argument, man. As far as I'm concerned, do we have the capacity to buy from our own?
What do you mean?
What I mean is that if we, as a black country, as a black nation, African Americans, if we chose to buy from our own people and ourselves, do we have the capacity to do that?
That's a good question, bro. What do you think?
I don't think we even think that we have that ability to do so, man.
Why? Just to keep it going, tell me why you don't think that.
Because because even though all these different stores and people own these stores and these products, we still go to them. It could be a black business in the same city that you live in, large or small, because they have access to all the products. We still support them. We don't make sacrifices to say, you know what, I'm willing to spend $1 or $2 more to support the black business. And what winds up happening? It goes out of business, or it's non-existent. Whereas we can go to the Asian community and get what we want at a lower price because they priced us out of the product. They priced us out of all the products.
So they're selling other people's products, right? They're not selling their own products. They're selling other people's brands, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what they're doing.
So Ja'Cory, what do you think?
I mean, I don't really have an opinion on that, man. I mean, it's outside. No. Wait. Other than small businesses not having access to larger resources, man. I think that's where the problem lies.
It does.
Here's the thing. Before neck bones and chitlins and all that shit got good enough to eat for motherfuckers on a regular basis across the country, right? White or black or whatever. Black people were making money selling soul food, neck bones, chitlins, all that shit. And once these people decided that, you know what, we can make a profit off that shit, they cornered the market on it and they outpriced black companies, man, who was selling that shit. And now they are out of business, and because we like the product, we buy from them outside of ourselves, and we make the excuse that, well, you know what, I could this black grocery store chain selling neck bones for this, but Walmart is selling neck bones for that, so I'm gonna go get the cheapest shit.
Yeah, Walmart selling ankle bones and putting neck bones fucking stickers on it is what they're doing.
Goddamn tilapia. Goddamn tilapia is worse than goddamn catfish, man.
Look,
you can raise tilapia in the fucking sewage, bro. But what do most people eat? What do most black people eat? Tilapia.
No, they eat everything, man.
Most black people.
Most
black people eat whiting.
Okay, same thing. They're all garbage fucking fish.
No, what they talking about is they have those whiting farms and those tilapia farms where they living on top of each other. You know what I'm saying?
They control the market, selling garbage ass shit. Isn't it funny, man, how people can come to the conclusion that, man, if you eat soul food, man, that's bad for your goddamn health. We was raised off of goddamn pig and catfish and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But these motherfuckers, they got to the point where it's farm fish. It's not, fish that was raised from. It's farm shit.
And how they living on top of each other. Yeah, I get that. I get it.
And it's because they, whoever they are, discovered that they can find a way to raise that shit in a cheaper form, as fucking foul as it is, and we're gonna eat it because we're used to what? The natural form of it, bro. And they just took control of the market of it, because it's not about you sending me a bad weave or the goddamn Blue Magic is made from Crisco and shit. It's made from it's made from Crisco. But we can put the label on that and say, okay, we can sell this shit no matter what the hell content it is. And that is not, that's simply because of out marketing us and out producing us, because we can sell it to you because of the name was sold. Blue Magic was sold to another motherfucker who didn't care about the ingredients.
It happens. It happens every day, man. You gotta pay attention to what you buy and how you buy it, the whole nine, because the information is out there.
But
the
we
information is out there.
Tell me that Blue Magic is still the same product than when we was raised on, bro. It's not.
But the thing about it is, do you really need Blue Magic, bro?
Because a motherfucker, motherfuckers still use Blue Magic.
You use Blue Magic. You don't need Blue Magic, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? Like, I think it comes down to understanding what you're buying, and then you're making a choice to buy. Now, I think you made a marvelous point when it came to the food that we eat, because we really have to be careful. You know what I mean? I remember eating fried chicken as a child, right? Where a drumstick, I needed 2 drumsticks just to feel a quarter of the way full, right? But now I eat a drumstick and I can eat half of it and then take it to lunch tomorrow, because that motherfucker is a pterodactyl. You know what I'm saying?
Why do black women don't put perms in their hair anymore?
Because it was bad. It was bad for their hair, man.
Yes, but it wasn't as bad. Is my point. And they made the same. They made the same, quote unquote, the same product, but not the same ingredients, and they marketed that shit as the same, and it's not.
I get that. But then you think about the information that we receive now. We have more information where you find out how bad a perm was.
A bunch of sisters lost their goddamn hairline because of that bullshit.
And think about the Jerry curls. How many brothers wore that Jerry curl? You know what I'm saying? And look, how many times did you go to the damn court? And a brother he got a hell of a S curl. He got the bag over his head, and he started bawling. 45 minutes later, his hair is orange. Like, and you got that in your head? You know what I'm saying? It's you understanding. This is why the Jerry curl went out of business, because people started to understand it was not for your hair. It was just stuff that they threw at us. I say the businesses. This is what they did. You know what I'm saying? Trying to sell good hair. He got good hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. I think a lot, you have to pay attention to a lot of the things that you eat. Like, when we was kids, we always heard that pork wasn't good for us, right? But if somebody fried me up a pork chop, what do you think I was gonna do? Even though somebody already said swine is not good for you. Somebody in your family, a friend, swine is not good for you. A damn bacon sandwich. Jam a bunch of 10 pieces of bacon on one slice of bread and walk out that motherfucker and like you eating a damn popsicle. You know what I'm saying? It's I think I'm gonna bring this word up again. Your maturity level, understanding what's good for you and what ain't good for you. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. I just know it's funny to me that a motherfucker who was born in the 30s, who was raised on swine, get to their goddamn 70s and say, I don't eat swine anymore because it's not the same product.
Maybe
Explain
not.
that shit to me. You know what I'm saying?
You might be right. You know what I mean? Look, it's all about passing information. And then it's the information that you choose to believe. Because look, not everything that you Google is the damn truth, right? But
You fuck around.
it will get you closer to the truth because you have options to go and follow.
Here's the thing, bro. When Church's Chicken was around and motherfuckers was getting them goddamn pound and a half goddamn breasts and shit, and eat them shits. And now you can't find a Church's Chicken any goddamn way.
No, we got one here. That's crazy. We got one here in Raleigh, North Carolina. That's crazy. And my family like Church's Chicken. I don't eat it. I don't eat it.
I think I ate Church's Chicken twice in my damn life, man, because I couldn't believe how big the goddamn breast was, bro. The white meat.
Shit, that's what attracted me. Look at all this meat. All this meat. He goddamn chicken wings big as both.
You fuck around and
somebody made a mistake, and I'm going to
you fuck around and eat you some Church's Chicken one day, and you say, "Damn, I want a big ass piece of meat like I had at church." And you go to a Popeyes, and it's all goddamn batter and shit, and very little meat.
I ain't never ran into no Popeyes. You know what, man? I'm the standard. I'm a Kentucky Fried Chicken dude, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I grew up off that, bro. I really
When's
do.
the last time you saw a real goddamn when you order some wings and they give you some wings instead of a rat leg and shit?
Wow.
Go to a damn fast food restaurant, drive-through joint, and look at the damn chicken. They give you a piece of goddamn, they give you some legs that's this big. Have you ever seen, think about that, man. When you get a damn chicken wing, some chicken wings and shit.
So
how small is them joints, man? Them shit is the same size as a goddamn rat. Either they processing the bird too early, or it's a different type of meat, bro.
I think that's the wrong. Well, I'm not gonna say it's wrong, but I mean, when you factor in the amount of chicken wings that everybody eats every day, now across this country, man, people have got to consume millions of chicken wings a year. Chicken wings alone. What the fuck else are they doing with the rest of the chicken? And I don't see nobody, eating a whole bunch of chicken like that. It's 2 wings on every chicken, right?
Okay.
2 legs and everything. I mean, but
they sell breasts, they sell thighs and all that shit.
They do.
Yeah, but yeah, they do at chicken restaurants. But you can go to any kind of restaurant and buy wings.
Bro, I'm gonna tell y'all both right now. I do not eat chicken outside
I
of.
Still do.
I fast food chicken. I do not eat that shit, bro, at all. Because that's not, you know what I'm saying. Unless it's a baby chicken. To make in my mind to justify how small that shit is, I'm not eating that shit, bro.
Look, I guess the South ain't, and them baby chickens ain't made it to the South yet, because there's some regular sized wings to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? You sitting up here trying to sell rat wings, man. What the fuck is going on?
That's the point I'm making. That's what they sell up here, bro. If it's a difference,
come on, man.
Difference,
I'm not saying that you're not telling the truth, but right now, that is not enough information for me to stop going to whatever chicken restaurant that I go to. I can't.
Bro, I do not eat fast food chicken, man, at all, man, because it's not even in comparison of the size of a regular chicken growing up in the wild.
Now look,
free range chickens. Where did he get these
free range chickens are much smaller than the processed chicken. But look, check this out. I do not order any chicken meals in Chinese restaurants. The
Why?
reason why is because it should be ribbed meat, but it's marble. That shit is too round and too shiny. I'm telling you, I can't do it. And I can't and not saying that the beef is any better, but I can look at that chicken, you know what I'm saying, like chicken egg foo young or chicken and rice or something like that, chicken and broccoli. It's too marbleized for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, where in the chicken does it look like this? And then it's not rib chicken either. But it is what it is, man.
So
You
we
know?
on the same page. Yo, excuse me for a minute.
No, you sitting up here trying to sell rat legs. Oh, look
Yo,
at them. Look
no.
how small they are. What the fuck is that, man?
I'm not trying. I just told you I don't eat that shit.
You went on a 5-minute rant about rat legs.
Yeah, because I want to let the world know that, man. Don't eat that shit, man. That ain't real
Okay.
chicken.
Got you.
You know
If
what
it
happened
is,
to
it's a
Oprah.
baby chicken.
You know what happened to Oprah when she came out about the beef industry and shit.
What happened to Oprah?
They tried to cancel her.
Yeah, I remember that. But you know what? They I don't know, bro. I tell you, you know, if you were able to be a vegan and find real vegetables, right? It's kind of the way to go. Or be able to mix it in. Or if you got a family friend that got a farm and you purchase their chickens, you feel what I'm saying? Like you get the meat from them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm gonna tell you, black meat markets where you could go in and see what you're selling, what they're selling to you, is the place to go, bro. To be honest with you, know what I'm saying? I think there's a couple here, you know, and they sell fish. There's to me, no, I'm just tripping off here. Damon talking about selling rat legs and shit like that. What fuck is that, Spo? He's on, look, you can tell, well, shit, I just had chicken last night, motherfucker. How you gonna tell me I'm eating the rat leg?
I did. I mean, I did have chicken last night. I mean, I don't care. I mean, shit.
Oh, shit.
People have opinions, like I said earlier. You know, people have opinions, and they had a right to express those opinions. I mean, you know, that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't think, you know, we use the, you know, the Chinese community, you know, as an example or whatever. It's not their fault that black-owned businesses don't have access to the resources that they have access to. It's not their fault.
I mean,
and they would be foolish. They would be foolish in the majority of cases not to take advantage of that.
I'm gonna tell you, in a lot of these places, Chinese restaurants has fed a lot of starving kids, man. I mean, because of the cheapness of what they're doing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I got some goddamn garlic chicken from Rally's and shit. I ate 2 pieces and I was like, man, these motherfuckers trying to poison me, man.
And it took you 2 pieces to find that out.
Hunger will do that. Hunger will do that. But when I started on that 3rd piece, I was like, man, I had to be responsible. I got to be responsible, bro. I'm not gonna be responsible for killing my goddamn self, bro. For real.
All right. This is the last question of the day, bro. And I do this because I think you two have valuable opinions on how and your way of seeing things in this world. Your child, whether all of them or just the one, come to you and say, Dad, and they do it in all sincerity, say, Dad, how can I make myself happy? What is one thing that you would want, that you feel imperative to tell them? We'll start with you, Damon.
Trust in your judgment, man, because you was put on this earth to have with a purpose, man. You know what I'm saying? And what you glean from that and you learn from it is meant to be. And your only job is to learn from it, man. You know what I'm saying? And figure out how to challenge yourself and press forward. You know what I'm saying? Which requires you to question everything and be confident in challenging yourself, man, moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Expecting the questions, expecting the disappointments, expecting whatever, because what makes a person wise, man? Learning from your mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And being better and being confident in the fact that you don't know everything. And whatever you conclude from your mistakes is how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And trusting in it.
So you feel as though what you just stated will put them on the path of their happiness.
I think that if they don't have, I think that if they come to the life where they can't blame nobody but themselves for their mishaps, their mistakes, or whatever, then that's a step forward, bro. I'm saying, our dad told me one day, he said, hey, man, whatever you decide to do, major or whatever, make sure it's you that's making this, the mistake, and not anything anybody convince you of. You know what I'm saying? You decide, you make the mistakes, and you learn from it. That way you can't blame nobody if you don't make it in life. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then I think that's a good life, man. You decide. You make the chance, the choice, and you take the chance on you, not anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Be a leader within your own self. It's not to be a leader for everybody else. Be a leader within your own self. If you're successful, people they'll pay attention to it. But that's not your motivation. Your motivation is to be the best you can be. Okay. And if it works for you, it's a beautiful thing. If it works for other people, you didn't try to convince them of other things. They're just following your example. And if it works for them, it's a beautiful thing.
Okay. Jaquari, if your daughter came to you and said, Dad, what advice can you give me so I could be happy? What would it be?
Well, first of all,
what would you think of?
First of all, I would ask her what her definition of happiness was.
Okay.
And once she explained that to me, I would talk about realistic expectations. I mean, because if her definition of happiness was some Disney based unrealistic birds flying around and everything being hunky-dory all the time, I'd have to be the one to deliver that hard news. You're not going to be in that state all the time. As a matter of fact, I mean, that's almost impossible for everybody. You're not supposed to be happy all the time. You're not supposed to be.
Well, that's interesting. What do you mean you're not supposed to be happy all the time?
I'm wondering the same thing, bro.
You're not supposed to be happy all the time because it's impossible to be happy all the time.
I understand that, but don't you still should strive to be happy though, right?
Oh yeah, you should always do the work.
Okay.
within that work, you need to have the understanding that, you know, the majority of the time you may not hit the mark.
Mm.
Then what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to redefine what happiness is to you. You know, I mean, it's happiness is not a constant thing. It
No,
change.
I
It
think
change.
it evolves. I think it
It,
evolves.
it changes to fit who you are in that moment. You know,
Let me ask you a question, bro. How often are
I
you?
was
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
yeah. You got it. You got it. No, go ahead, man. Go ahead. Go
What
ahead,
I'm gonna
David.
say is, how often are you disappointed, man?
How often are you disappointed? Well, I mean, you know, you're only disappointed as much as you let yourself be disappointed. Now, I mean, it all depends on, you know, your expectations of other people, man. You know, but that's put a lot of your destiny and how you feel in other people's hands. You can't do that.
You know, our brother Jacory told me something one time, man, that I didn't really get until I went through the experience and shit. You know what he said? How many times have you really been disappointed, bro? When you was trying to get what you really want? Remember you told me that shit, Keith?
I mean, yeah, but that's the whole point. That's the process. I mean, it that's the life thing, man. Because life.
But I
Go ahead.
was going through something at the time, and you asked me that question, and I actually took the time to think about that shit. And you know what? You were actually right. I've been more happy and okay than I was disappointed.
Yeah, I think it's and you know it's always subjective from person to person. Because some people be getting the raw end of everything just because they're existing. You know what I'm saying? And then there's some people who feel like they're getting the raw deal of everything because they don't get what they want. It's how you see things, right? Like I've always admired church folk. I'm not talking about the ones in the pulpit, which I don't got nothing against them, but I'm talking about the ones who are filled with the joy of what they believe. And you know, us growing up, we've known impoverished church folk, but when you see them, they always have a smile on their face because they always feel that it's gonna be all right.
Well, how I remember the conversation, because I was going through some shit at the time, and I said, I told you about what I was going through, and you say, "Float, man. Whenever you really wanted something, then you achieve it, then you get it." How often was you disappointed? And I was stuck on what I was going through, those little habit chance things I was going through and dealing with. And you was like, no, man, seriously. Everything that you really tried and you really wanted to accomplish, did you accomplish it? And how are you really as unhappy as you expressing because you're going through an emotional thing? You remember that conversation?
I remember those kinds of conversations we always have. Yes, I remember the
Right.
conversation.
And I could not come up with one thing that I was truly disappointed in that I tried to do.
I had to come up with that myself. And see, that's why, look, I paid it forward because I had to ask myself the
I
same
never
thing.
forgot that conversation. And guess what? You were right. I was never disappointed with the things that I really, really tried to do. things that I was dedicated to, I was never disappointed. So you can take that how you want. I'm just going by what I was, what you showed me, and what I experienced, which was reality.
I get it. I understand. Jaquari, did you want to finish up, or were you finished?
Okay.
I wanted, by addressing the question, I realized that was a loaded question. You know why? Because the three of us are still trying to find our own happiness. So really and truly, what we could do is, hey, this is what I did, and you can try it. You could try to find it out to see if it works for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, happiness to me, in my opinion, and this is what I tell my son. I tell my sons this all the time. How do you feel about you? Like deep down, not your interaction with other people. I'm talking about that person deep down, that you, when you look in the mirror, the person that looks back at you. How do you feel about that person? And this ain't deep. This is truth. Because I can tell you personally, if I was going through a thing and was disappointed or angry or happy and elated, the impact of those emotions, right, depended squarely upon how I felt about me, who I was at the time. That's the best thing that I could give them. Like, yo, do you love yourself? What does it take for you to understand if you love yourself or not? What journey do you need to take? Because just like I said, I'm still on that same journey. But the one thing I can do is give them the beginning point. How do you really feel about you? And how can you change it? If it's bad, if it's good, how can you increase the feeling? Because it always starts with us, man. I'm just talking about just the interpersonal, emotional stuff. It starts with us. Without being caught up on, chemical imbalances in your brain, any addictions, anything that's going to step in the way of you recovering from whatever's going on with you. It's the best way I can offer them, because what I think is it lets them know in a non-angry way, I am flawed, because I'm telling you I'm flawed, and I'm trying every day. This is the best I could do for them. Now, along the lines, I'm gonna big them up on their strengths. I'm gonna give them what I see as far as their present, their past, their present, and future. I'm gonna give that to them because I owe them that much. Because guess what? I'm raising them, and I see.
Okay.
See.
Now I follow you.
What were you confused about?
What I'm confused about, I'm not placating no grown ass person for shit. Now, when it comes to my child, I'm gonna speak on, the attributes and all that stuff. But a grown ass person who know better, I'm not placating their ass, man.
So when did we go down that road? I'm confused.
Well, based on what you were saying, placating might be my word. It might be over I might be overzealous with that statement, but what I'm simply saying is I can't speak to another person's pain experience. I can't speak to that because that's their own personal shit. But going through life and whatever, and I'm responsible for them as a child growing up, then I can say, you know what? You're a good person in spite of how they try to make you feel. This and that, and that, and this. And that's an experience in real time. But in terms of a grown-ass person, I can't speak to that shit because they're going to combat that. They're going to argue against it anyway. There's going to be an argument against shit anyway because you don't know what I'm going through type of attitude. You know what I'm saying?
So, that's my point, though. See, you're adding your spin on the situation, and what we're talking about. The initial question was, Dad, what kind of advice can you give me for happiness? That's basically what it was. You know what I'm saying? You're absolutely right, but I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I don't think we were talking along those lines that somebody had messed up. So, because my thing was loving yourself is going to give you the foundation for your happiness. That's basically what it was. I should have just said that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But as always, this has been a very, very great conversation. And I feel sorry for the people who miss it live. I'm glad you go back and catch it on Facebook and on our YouTube channel, Strong Perspective Podcast. I'm glad because many people tell me that that's where they catch it at. But I think when it's live and you're doing it in person, you get a bigger impact. You feel what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. Any last words before we go, gentlemen?
I look forward to the next time, man. Good
Okay.
conversation, fellas.
Great conversation, man. Damon.
It's always dark is before the dawn, bro. Some old hip shit.
Look. Dun.
Yeah. Where was
It's
you
always
at?
darker before the dawn. Did I sound clever?
Oh shit.
Oh man.
All right. Look, as always, please go to our YouTube channel, like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, before you finish, bro, you know my son just bought him a new truck and shit.
Congratulations, Cameron. That's what I'm talking about, dog.
He bought him a nice joint, man, a pickup joint, man. He let me drive to the store.
Look. Go ahead, finish. And look, since we piling on, Junior, my namesake, just bought him a new vehicle also.
Did he?
Yeah, he bought him a new car. So my thing is, our children are doing well.
Right.
Got anything to chime in there, LaQuaya?
No.
He said, hey, he was parked behind me, right? I said, man, you need to move your truck so I can go run to the store. He was like, Dad, just drive by truck, and threw me the keys and shit. I was like, okay.
You sure
I
you don't
jumped in
want to
that
come?
bad boy. I had to grab the inside to get up in that bone because it's tall as hell.
Yo.
And hey, Jaquan, I'm driving down the street like this here.
No.
You ain't traffic.
You ain't hop in that motherfucker and do this.
Look here. I'm
car
talking about put all the incense and all up in that joint. You know.
Oh, also, Jaquari, I got something that'll be able to get you at least, it may not give you a full night's sleep, but it'll get you to sleep. It's called the 4-7-8 method. Okay?
Mhm.
Basically, what you're doing, you're taking a deep breath for 4 seconds, holding it in for 7 seconds, then blow it out your mouth for 8 seconds. Right? It's not one of them hyperventilating things. It's just relaxing, and you're doing it 4-7-8. By the 4th time, drowsiness is going to kick in, and you'll at least get a cat nap. I'm giving that to everybody out there. And it takes away the stress and anxiety.
Hey, Jaquan, either that or you going to lay down because your ass is dizzy and shit for taking them deep breaths.
But also
I want to lay down.
healing breaths. If I'm not mistaken, healing breaths are this. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose. Inhale through your nose, exhale in your nose. It brings healing, cleansing breath. Bro, I walk. I saw this. I read it up and really researched it, and I tried it out because I have insomnia too. And I'm telling you, I may not sleep the full time, but it's deep sleep. Try it out. Folks, try it out. And it takes away the first one I just described, 4-7-8. It takes the edge off anxieties that you feel. Anxiety, because I suffer from anxiety. You know why? Because I got to stop myself from strangling people. You see what I'm saying? So I need to take the edge off. And when I started doing it, my mind became clearer.
When I'm gonna have to tell my wife, man, because she stay up all damn night, and then I have to wake up with a honeydew that's on my damn chest and shit.
Get your ass up.
And don't disturb me.
I saw something on Facebook, right? A white woman. This was the funniest shit. See, this is when you got spoiled ass dogs, right? This dog is in the sink eating whatever food in there, and she's doing her little TikTok, whatever, right? And she was like this. She's looking at the camera and she said, "Hold on for a second." She said, "Get your ass down." And it was like a flashback. I was like, that shit was hilarious, man. But look, let me tell you something, man. I am a hopeful human being. Hopeful because I know great things are going to happen for us and for me. I know that is. And the thing about it is, when you wake up every day understanding that, because you claim it, all you got to do is just claim it.
I got a saying that I have in regards to that, bro. You want to know what it is? What about me? What about mine? What about my needs? What about what I'm supposed to have?
Give me that. Give me those. Give them here.
What about me? What about mine? What about my needs? What about what I'm supposed to have?
All right, listen.
Oh,
thank y'all for listening. As I said, please go like, share, and subscribe. We still on the wave, baby. Hey, don't get caught trying to catch up, going to the episodes trying to catch up. I used to look at them. Don't be them people, please. But look, the bottom line is the three of us always want to promote great conversation, the back and forth, give and take. This is what we do. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the journey. that I've been with you two guys. This has been wonderful for me.
That's real.
This is Strong Perspective Podcast. We'll see y'all next Friday.